can be very, very frustrating to try and become disciplined. And I apologize that I haven't talked about the fact of what to do if you come from an undisciplined family or you have undisciplined parents. I haven't really talked about what to do in that situation, but there's a reason that I haven't talked about that before, and that is because you don't get discipline from your parents. You don't get discipline from your parents, from your grandparents, from your older brothers and sisters. You don't get discipline from an external source. You have to get it from you. That's what self-discipline is. You get it from yourself. You get it from you. So there's people from every possible background, from no parents to crazy parents to, drug-addicted parents to super squared-away parents, and everywhere in between on that spectrum that are completely disciplined people. More disciplined than anyone I know. It doesn't come from your parents. You don't inherit it. And there's another piece here. It's called ownership, right? It's called ownership. And if you want to blame other people for the problem, and I say this all the time, if you don't take ownership of the problem's not going to get solved. So if you blame your parents for not having raised you in a disciplined environment, you're not going to solve that problem. You're looking at your parents saying, if you would have done a better job being more disciplined for me, I would be more disciplined now. So that means you can't do anything. The fact of the matter is it's wrong. You actually can do something. And it doesn't matter how your parents raised you and brought you up. You can have the discipline you need to decide to do it. So, as long as you're blaming other people, I mean, if you blame me for not discussing it, you blame me for having zero idea what that experience is like, you blame your parents for not raising you this way, as long as you're blaming other people, as long as you're counting on other people to give you discipline, as long as you do that, you will not have it. So, again, I'm sorry, I should make that more clearly, and I'm trying to make it more clearly now. And like my parents are good people. They had successful careers as educators in public schools. And my mom eventually went into school administration, and my dad taught in high school for 30-something years, and they were good, hardworking people. But I'll tell you, they were no extraordinary preachers of discipline. And I'll tell you, I never remember either one of them ever using the term or referring to discipline in any way. And actually both my parents worked. They both worked a lot. My dad was coaching sports and we're doing after school stuff. My mom, same thing. Like, we were on our own a bunch. My parents were gone in the morning. We got ourselves to school. When we got home in the afternoon, they weren't home. So it wasn't like they were setting up this rigid, disciplined manner for me, right? Mm-hmm. And you can see this with families, many, many different families. There's families that have kids that the parents are very disciplined and the kids are wild and out of control. Sometimes it problematically so, right? Kids that come from really good families, but they get addicted to drugs, lack of discipline. Kids that come from really good families, but they spin out of control and go in the wrong direction. And there's also the opposite, which is, hey, the parents weren't around, or the parents were abusive, or the parents were drug addicts, and all the kid comes out of that and is squared away, is awesome. And we saw that all the time in the SEAL teams. And I've said that before on this program. It doesn't matter where your background is. It's what you decide to do. And I'll tell you another thing. It's not even from the military. Like, the military requires discipline, obviously. But there's plenty of people in the military that don't have it, right? And many people lose their discipline when they leave the military because it's not being imposed on them anymore. So, I mean, just go look around. I mean, being in the military does not make you a disciplined person. Being from a disciplined family does not make you a disciplined person. Being in a disciplined group does not make you a disciplined person. What makes you a disciplined person is choosing to be disciplined. So, Yeah, and also as far as telling people to man up, which, when someone says, how do I get up early every day? I say get up early every day. How do I stop eating sugar? Stop eating sugar. But if that's the definition of man up, but obviously it's not just men that need discipline in their life. I don't think I use that term, but what I do tell people is to get after it. What it feels like after you've worked out, or you've held the line on your food intake, or you've pushed through some monotonous project that you have, when you let the discipline slack. And no, it is not easy, but you're not going to get it from anyone else but you. And it's worth it, and it is the thing that is going to bring you freedom.
Yeah. You know how people, they'll find reasons when it's worth it, even though they've never experienced, like a person who has a heart attack or something, is like, and they have kids, young kids or something, they have a heart attack, maybe never worked out ever in their life. Yep. They have a heart attack, they almost died. They're like, guess what? I'm working out every single day. I'm a vegetarian now. Yep. Like doing major changes that they've never even thought about making, and they'll do it because they decided it's worth it. And they'll be disciplined. They'll find that discipline real quick, no matter how they're trained, as, their environment when they're
because now they see that it's going to be worth it.
That's it. Discipline itself, just like I said, that's going to come from you. Your parents can teach it, but guess who has to? It's still you. It's still you. And you can go to the military to specifically learn discipline. When you leave,
it's on you.
Yeah, exactly right. And just like I said, I know people who are done with the military and are glad they're done with that.
Right.
They're glad with this waking up early. They're glad
they fast forward 6 months. They're out of shape. They're not doing anything productive. It's horrible to see.
Yeah.
But it happens. It happens with the military. It happens with anything. It happens when kids get out of high school sports.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I don't have to do that anymore.
I don't have to listen to coach.
Yeah.
Crazy time.
Don't listen to coach. Listen to yourself.
Yeah. Determine whether or not it's worth it.
And I'm telling you, you don't need to determine. I'm telling you it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you it is worth it.
Yeah.
And you know what? You actually know it's worth it. That's why you're asking this question. You know it's worth it. You know it's worth it to have discipline, but you think there's an easier way. You think that it's something that people have. You think that when Jocko's alarm clock goes off, it's like, oh, just like my father taught me, I rise and I shine. No. It's like the pillow feels soft and comfortable.
Yeah.
And the alarm clock is banging on my head, and I don't like it. But you know what? I know it's worth it to get up and get after it. I know it's worth it, and you know it's worth it. Sure, there's people that don't. When you're 16 years old, you don't know the value of discipline. You don't know that the way you're acting right now is going to affect you in 5 years. You don't know that you can set your whole life up to be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You don't know that yet. You're just worried about where you're going on a Friday night, right?
Yeah.
So this guy knows, and he wants it. And he's looking for where he can find it. And where he can find it is in the mirror. So, you don't know how to work out? Cool, then you go hire a personal trainer because you know it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Oh, you don't know how to repair your finances? Cool, go get a counselor that's going to help you repair your finances. Oh, you're addicted to drugs or alcohol? Okay, I'm going to go find a counselor or join a group so I can get through that thing. No one's going to hold your hand and bring you into any of those situations. You got to do it yourself. You got to have the discipline to make it happen. There's so much knowledge out there, so much information, so many ways to get better. And we make so many mistakes. We're the product of our mistakes. And oftentimes the lesson is sitting there right in front of our face. It's there to be learned, but we miss it, or we don't pay attention to it, or we think we know better until it punches us in the face. And the most important thing to learn is that we have so much to learn. We all do. And we can learn from school and from people and from experience, and we learn from life. But you have to process the information. You have to absorb it. You have to accept it. You have to open your mind. You gotta free your mind so that you can learn and make real progress. And as far as regrets and things I wish I would have done differently, of course. Hindsight is 20/20, and looking back, of course, who wouldn't want to take another go at something and improve on the first try by doing it again? And then why not do it again and again and again, and why not just do it over and over again until you have it perfect? But the fact is, you don't get that chance. You get one shot at this gig right here.